What's happening, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Unparalleled Sports Talk with yours, Kwame Fisher-Jones. As always, I am him. And if you are an Everett Terry Jr., a.k.a. Sports Talk Terry on all social media platforms, if you are a fan of him, this is not the show for you today. This is a day of reckoning for my brother from another, for my brethren, for my heart, Everett Terry. Hello, sir. How are you?
Man,
How are
listen, we
you?
1 week out. We 1 week out from celebrating twin birthdays, and we really got to stop with this kinetic energy and wearing the same stuff.
No. We're not coming on some old lollipop friendly crap. No. You said we're gonna talk about something big. Yeah, we're gonna talk about something big. You asked me what we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about the Pistons. Yeah, we're gonna talk about the Pistons because I saw that coming. But we are going to open the show up with your man, 50 grand, Slim Reaper, Mr. They can't keep me off Twitter, but they can keep me out of a playoff game, Kevin Durant. Now, there's so many layers to this story. Now, normally when I prepare for a show for you, I like to have my notes because you can go. Got nothing on the board today. You know why I got nothing on the board today, Everett? Because I can go 5 years ago. I can go 3 years ago. I can go back to a Bleacher Report article I wrote 10 years ago that said Kevin Durant was nothing but a fantastic scorer. And I should have phrased that differently, saying that Kevin Durant is a phenomenal scorer, but as far as being a championship leading basketball player, I do not say it. However, we're going to talk about right here, right now. Houston Rockets staved off a sweep. The 5th seed Houston Rockets knocked back a sweep. So they're prolonging the inevitable here. They will be losing to the Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, what is it? The dominating led? Is that DeAndre Ayton? Is that what his nickname is? Dominating led. LeBron James Jr. alley-oop catching. Ooh, man, there's so many things. JJ Redick coaching Los Angeles Lakers. But before we get started there, we got to refer. Anytime we mention this man's name, we're going to call him the great LeBron James. All right. The great LeBron James is leading them. And I had a conversation, kind of scattered in my opening, but I had a conversation. I'm going to throw it to you. In a barbershop where a lot of great dialogue and great thoughts go to die. Someone said the reason why the great LeBron James will never be better than Jordan because nobody fears Jordan. Nobody fears LeBron. And I thought about that. And I said to myself, I'm watching a guy that they tried to say was on the same level as him, duck him in a playoff series. And if you don't think that Kevin Durant is ducking the great LeBron James right now, that is exactly what he's doing. His first injury that was reported that caused him to miss game 1 was he hurt his knee diving for a loose ball in practice. He hurt his knee diving for a loose ball in practice. So, okay, we'll give him a pass for game 1. Comes back game 2, they lose again. Now he sits out game 3 for what? What are we talking about? Now he's got an ankle issue going to miss game 4. And reports are he will never play for the Rockets again. They're looking to rebuild by trading him, but they just traded a young player for him. So my question for you is this, Everett. How wrong were you about Kevin Durant? Floor is yours.
Kevin Durant is that drug addict relative that you want to give another shot to that you think's turned the corner. Nah, they not going to do it this time. They learned. They I promise. He said he went through rehab. He's not going to steal again. We can let him in the house. And then he steals again. He just continues to disappoint you. I'm one of those people that's been an advocate. I've been an advocate for KD for years because I believe he's one of the greatest scorers in the history of basketball we've ever seen. His skill set for his size is unmatched. The things he can do with a basketball, the ability to get to any spot on the floor and hit any shot, it's there. None of that will be taken from him. He went to Golden State, won his rings. Okay, people questioned it because he kind of succumbed to the pressure versus trying to come back and do it again with OKC. And then he went to Brooklyn, didn't win there. Went to Phoenix, didn't win there. In Houston, ain't going to win there. And every single time we turn around, it's always an excuse. It's some weird injury. And, I mean, this one, there was no excuse. You're playing the Lakers without arguably 2 of their best players. The best player on their team is 5 years older than you. 5 years, and you're 37. He's 5 years older than you. And he's playing out there with he's out there playing with his son.
Yeah.
who literally was like an infant when you came into the NBA, and you are afraid of beating them with a defensive team and a better head coach in Ime Udoka, with a defensive team, with the Thompsons and, these guys that you got out here, Torrey Eason, all these other guys you got out here running around
All
making
the dudes he
plays.
ripped on Twitter. Just say all the dudes he ripped on Twitter. Just say that. Just say that.
Okay. And you don't even show up. You don't even sit on the sidelines and support your squad with a ankle injury. All right. So this is that.
Go ahead. No,
this is that point in the road where you kind of got to admit, you know what? Like you had to admit with Halliburton.
Oh, get the hell out of here.
Like you had to admit with Embiid. I'm going to admit here, I was wrong about Mr. Kevin Durant. I thought better of him. I thought this would be the year he could show up as Moxie as a champion. Did I think they could get to the Western Conference Finals? No, because they don't have a true point guard. But I thought, especially now with Minnesota going down, the Spurs looking beatable by the Portland Trailblazers of all teams. The only team that's really kind of coasting along is OKC. I thought you had a shot.
And the Lakers.
Well, the point is they had a chance to really make a statement and make a name for themselves. And instead, you bowed out gracefully and didn't even show up and try. Didn't say anything to the teammates. And it tears up a culture in the locker room, to where guys don't want to play with you. And it sucks because now he's going to go to another team. I mean, somebody will take him. But you have to realize at this point in his career, he's at best a tertiary, maybe a secondary option. He'll never be the guy on any team he'll ever play on again. You can't win with him. He's Joel Embiid. You can't win him as the best guy on your team. So that's where I'm at with it.
You keep trying to navigate me to Embiid.
Well, I'm segueing to where we going to go.
No, we're not leaving this room yet, my guy. We're not leaving
this
room yet.
Go ahead, get your shots in, get your digs.
No, it's not about shots.
All right, in a winner or loss.
In all seriousness. So when we first just started talking the season, and I said, this is how it ends for Kevin Durant, that come playoff time, we're going to be sitting down, excusing another one of his failures. And it frustrated me because as a basketball purist, like as a basketball novice, as a guy, not novice, but as a basketball purist, as a guy that loves the game of basketball, I spotted what Kevin Durant was. And I saluted that and celebrated that. Then he got elevated and thrust into a level that he didn't belong in. When he does not have an all-time great on his team, this dude can't get past the second round. When he does not have two all-time greats on his team, he can't make it to the finals. Now, the reason why I said that way is because this. People will rip LeBron and say he built super teams. That Negro has been to the finals with Boobie Gibson as his second best player. I'm going to repeat that. People rip LeBron and say he built super teams. That Negro has been to the finals with Boobie Gibson and Mo Williams as his second best players. Now, they got swept.
Mo Williams was an all-star that year.
He was. And Boobie Gibson wasn't. Boobie Gibson's claim to fame as being Keisha Cole's baby daddy. That's what he brings to the table. So, the point I make, I take you there to bring you here. Kevin Durant has had Russell Westbrook, one of the greatest all-around basketball players we have ever seen. And whether you want to say he's a point guard, shooting guard, whether you like it or not, the man averaged a triple-double for multiple seasons. James Harden, one of the greatest scorers the game has ever seen. He had them on his team, all-time greats. Finals, lost to LeBron. All right. Goes to Golden State, Steph Curry. I don't need to say it. Draymond Green, I don't need to say it. Klay Thompson, I don't need to say it. Steve Kerr, that's the difference. You add those four, Kevin Durant is getting two NBA final MVPs. He's coasting. He's one of the greatest players of all time. He's running his mouth. He leaves Golden State, wins another title. Kevin Durant can't get back to the second round. That, to me, is an indictment on him. It's not on everybody else. What has happened in Houston is just more of the same. What makes it worse in Houston, or what makes it so bad in Houston, is he came in with the fanfare that he was going to be the missing piece. And now he's going to leave with the same pieces that he was traded for. They had the same exact record he had when they had the other guys. Nothing changed. The only difference was they didn't like each other. So now they're talking about rebuilding. Where's Kevin Durant going to go? What's going to be the story? What can he do? Well, you said he won't be the second best, third best option. At this point, if I'm a championship contending team, why do I want Kevin Durant? What is he going to do for me? He has proven throughout his career, as I said months ago, he is going to score 27 inconsequential points. He's going to get 6 inconsequential rebounds. And you're going to look. He is, you compare him to Joel Embiid. He's better than Joel Embiid, obviously. I'm not going to do that. But he is kind of like a steroid version of, we're going to talk about this team. And I'm going to make the connection before you react. So just let me make the connection. He is kind of like a steroided version of Tobias Harris at this stage of his career, meaning he's going to score his points, he's going to get his buckets, but they're not going to come at times that impact the game. And he's better than Tobias Harris by far. I'm not saying he's like Tobias Harris.
Yeah, please clear that up because him and Tobias Harris don't want the same sense for anything other than they play in the same game.
I think at this stage of his career, because if you look up at the stat sheet, Tobias Harris had 20 points last night, and they still lost. Well, my point is Kevin Durant has 27. When you look at the stat sheet of every game, win or loss, he's got 27.
Tobias Harris had 20 points this game, have 0 the next game. They're not the same.
No, he had 17. The point is, just follow me here. You look at the stat sheet of Tobias Harris at the end of the night, you'd be like, he had 17 points, he had 20 points. I don't even remember him scoring. You look at Kevin Durant's stat sheet at the night, you'd be like, damn, KD had 29 points. They still lost. His points don't come in a manner that impact the game. What he does is he just hoops. That's all he does is hoop. And when you watch
LeBron, the best way I can describe him, and I don't know how much you follow baseball.
I don't.
But years ago, there was a guy that played for the Philadelphia Phillies named Bobby Abreu. He was the best player on a really, really bad team. Consistently hit around 300. We give you 20, 25 home runs. But the Phillies lost all the time, right? And what they called them were the most empty stats in baseball. He would give you the same stats whether they won or they lost, but they never impacted the game. He never hit in clutch, never showed up when they needed to. And so I equate Kevin Durant to the Bobby Abreu of basketball. That's the best way I can describe it.
And that's why I used it Tobias Harris, because it's extreme, and I wanted to go extreme with it. The most frustrating thing about it, it's not it's devalues Steph Curry. It devalues LeBron James when you put them in the same sentence. Because when we watch Steph Curry play, we're not just watching a shooter. Like Dale Ellis existed. I'm drawing a blank on his name. 3D. What's 3D's name? Dennis Scott existed in Orlando. They were tremendous shooters. Steph Curry is more than just a shooter. He's an assassin. He feels the game. He knows the game. He knows when to take those shots and when not to take those shots. He can shoot you into a game and take a game away with his shot. He can literally take the heart of another team away with a half-court shot. Kevin Durant is a great 17-foot mid-range shooter. He's not Steph Curry. I would even venture to say that when we go back and look at this era of players, we should put Kevin Durant in the same breath as a Carmelo Anthony. Not because we're taking shots at Kevin Durant, but we devalue the guys who did the same thing Kevin Durant did. That just didn't have.
I think that's a fair comp. I think Carmelo and KD are great comps of each other. Guys who were great scorers, prolific scorers, were the man on most of the teams they were on, but never won or ascended to anything. That's a great comp.
And the difference, because KD's got the 2 titles, is Carmelo didn't go to Miami. That's
had he went, he would have had chips too. Yeah,
and that's so that's the big thing.
He said, "I'd rather sit here and lose."
No, he didn't say that. He said, "I'd rather go down being a man than being part of the men." And I you know what, Carmelo, I got a soft spot for Carmelo. You know that. I'm a huge Carmelo Anthony fan, and I hate the way that history looks at him. I hate the way history looks at Carmelo. He was one of the greatest to ever do it. His game was so pure and so. But the point I'm trying to make is, and I want to transition to the next KD topic, is it's frustrating to watch Kevin Durant be elevated in spaces he shouldn't be in and rooms he shouldn't be in, when the fact of the matter is he's a Reggie Miller, he's a Bernard King, and that's the stratosphere he's in. Now, what's next for Kevin Durant? Like, all jokes aside, what's next for Kevin Durant?
He goes home.
Do you think he goes to Washington?
Makes sense. They got the cap space. They got an old aging team with a bunch of guys. He get to play with AD, no pressure. Trae Young, no pressure. I mean, if they get hurt and they win 30 games or they win 60 games, it's no pressure. They're going to there as a 5th seed. They're going to probably shake up the world a little bit, maybe make a run. They probably won't be better than a 4th seed. Probably get upset in the playoffs, and that's where Kevin Durant will close out his career. He'll be home. He'll be close to his family and friends because he's from that area. It makes a lot of sense. He would draw. He'd be a big draw to them. You know, AD gonna go down and miss 35 games for no reason because he stubbed his
Washington does
toe.
well without him, though.
I think Washington can do well without him, especially holding that top end pick. But I think that
No,
if you can get a
go ahead.
Kevin Durant to come in there and play, you give back some assets to Houston, a couple future picks. It makes sense for both sides. Why not?
You almost made me call you a racial slur. I ain't giving up more than a second round pick for Kevin Durant.
You
Like
sound crazy.
I'm
Now,
not
now you
giving up more than
sound.
a second round
Listen,
pick. If I'm Washington,
that week in California must got you contact high because that sounds crazy.
that's it. What did he do? What has he done in the last 3 years?
Here's the thing. He walks into Washington and is the best scorer on the team. Can we agree? Can we agree? If he walks into Washington, he's the best scorer on the team.
So what? So okay.
Just hear me.
So he gives you. Okay. I want to say. So he gives you 40 points a game. So what? What does that mean? What does that mean?
Hear what I'm saying. The reason why guys like Trae Young, AD, and Durant don't win is because they need to be surrounded by guys who can take the pressure off of them. When Durant won, he wasn't the primary option. Steph was. Steph pulled the double teams to let KD cook. Can we agree? Can we agree?
Triple teams.
Hold on.
He pulled the triple teams.
Yes,
we agree. You're right.
Okay. Trae Young's never played with another prolific scorer that could take the pressure off of him. Can we agree? Hold on. Can we agree?
Okay. I agree.
The only time AD ever won is when he went to a team where he wasn't the best player on the team. Can we agree?
Yes. And they had a
so
true
if you
point
take
guard.
These 3 B-level beta male players, put them all together, and you say, hey, AD, you can go out there and score your 20. When they double you, you got KD who's going to give you his 20. Trae, you're going to facilitate the offense. You're going to get single looks now because you're not going to get double teamed because they got to respect Durant on the wing and AD in the paint. That's going to give you opportunities to get your shots. It actually works. And they got the cap space. He's from the area. It would be a draw. Washington hasn't been relevant since you were in college. Let it happen. Why not? They're swinging for the fences anyway. Let them go get Kevin Durant for a pick in 2 years, which I'm sure Houston would take to get some cap relief, and call it a day. Throw back Bub Carrington and another guy and give them a pick in 2 years and call it a day.
No.
That pick makes sense. It makes sense for everybody.
No, I'm gonna tell you why it doesn't. It made sense.
Miami.
It made sense 19 years ago. Pat Riley ain't touching Kevin Durant. It made sense 19 years ago when John Wall and Bradley Beal were on the team and Marcus Morris or Markieff Morris was their small forward for Kevin Durant to go to Washington. Now it doesn't make sense. If he goes, first of all, he wouldn't go to Washington because pressure playing at home would make him bust. Pause. The pressure at home would eat him up. I believe he winds up in one or two places. Number one is Philly. If Daryl Morey keeps his job, if Daryl Morey keeps his job, when I heard and this is the most disappointing. When I heard the Sixers were pushing for Kawhi Leonard, it told me that Daryl Morey had lost his mind. It told me that he did not have a clue what he was doing, and he was just at this point talking to any woman
just
that had
anything.
Yeah, any woman that looked like she had a vagina, he looked like he was trying to holler at the bar. That's what it felt like. Anything that's got a vagina, I got dibs on. That's what it felt like with Daryl Morey. And this is a long shot, but I think it makes sense because of the person that leads the team, Golden State. I think Golden State makes a lot of sense because they are at a point where they don't want. So a little known fact to people, Golden State has always drew well. Like even when they were one of the worst teams in the NBA, they still sold out. People always came out to the games. What allowed them to move to the Chase Center and become a global iconic franchise was number 30. They're not going to let number 30 retire anywhere else. The sheer will this be Steph's last year will sell out every game they go to. So the ticket sales alone would make them money tenfold.
He and KD one last hurrah.
Yeah, no. They don't. It's about Steph Curry. They don't have an opportunity to bring in anybody else.
That's what I'm saying. He and KD for one last hurrah.
Yeah, but they also have somebody.
They have to get rid of Draymond, though.
No, they're not going to get rid of Draymond because I'm going to tell you, Steph isn't going to let that happen.
That doesn't work. Him and Draymond are beefing. That doesn't work.
It does work. Well, it'll work because Draymond can make that work. But you know why it works? Because they have a guy who they just re-up to who is on injury reserve. and who's sucking up a significant part of their cap.
Jimmy
And who
Butler.
exactly he fits Houston better than Kevin Durant does. And Golden State has 2 young players that they can send over. Houston at this point, when I hear that they're looking to rebuild, I call BIS on that. The reason why I call BIS on that is it's not about rebuilding because they let go of a young player in Jalen Green who they could have got more for. Jalen Green was a guy that just played basketball. It infuriated Ime Udoka. And there's nothing wrong with just playing basketball. But the reason why they got rid of Jalen Green is because he just scored. He
His
just played. He
basketball
just
IQ wasn't
scored.
there. He
Yeah,
just played.
it wasn't about time. It wasn't about management. It wasn't about flow of the game. It was just I'm gonna get my buckets and I'm gonna run down and play. That's what Kevin Durant does. It's exactly what Kevin Durant does. Jimmy Butler doesn't do that. Second, and more importantly, you need that veteran leadership because Houston has a good team. They have I don't want to say a championship contending team, but they have a 50-win team. You add Jimmy Butler to that team, they're a better team.
Switching out Jimmy Butler, who's coming off of a torn ACL, for Kevin Durant, and then getting back Fred VanVleet makes them literally the same 5 seed that they are this year. They don't get any further.
Brother, they were the 5 seed with the same record that had them as the 2 seed last year.
Yeah, but the West is a better conference.
I
Everybody knows that.
I feel like Houston is kind of over a barrel, if you will, because they have to get rid of Kevin Durant. He killed their team.
I agree.
So where and you say you want to give him up, you want to give up a future number 1 for him. I look at teams that are contending because I think you would agree with me that it's more than likely that he goes to not a championship contending team, but a playoff contending team, which to your point, Washington would be by adding him. So,
and they got
that's
the cap space. It makes sense.
Yeah. But it doesn't mean he would go to Washington. I don't think he would go to Washington. The reason why I'm saying Golden State, and the reason why I'm saying Philly is because those teams, in the case of Golden State, he had success in Golden State, but it sets up for him nicely because Golden State plays in a division where all you really have is the Lakers.
You know what team I think also makes a lot of sense? And they're a quiet sleeper team, and we haven't really talked about them because they're already good.
Topics.
It is San Antonio.
I'm changing
because here's the thing. Listen, hear me for a second. They got De'Aaron Fox, who they don't really love because they've already got Dylan Harper, who they want to start. De'Aaron Fox and Kevin Durant make the same money. De'Aaron Fox doesn't fit in San Antonio. They do that trade straight up. Kevin Durant for De'Aaron Fox. It might even get a pick back.
He don't fit. De'Aaron Fox don't fit in Houston either. If you got Van Fleet,
he's their point guard. They don't have a point guard.
They have Van Fleet.
Van Fleet's injured.
No,
you don't know he's going to come back good next year. You don't know that.
Back good next year, but I don't think they make that. I don't think they go with that guy with De'Aaron Fox. I don't think they.
Okay. Houston, all right. So maybe they take back something else. But what I'm saying is San Antonio works because it takes the pressure off of Wemby. Who's the second option? Legit second option in San Antonio that you're like, oh yeah, you got to be worried about him. No, Stephen Castle, 16 points a game.
I think that's a great point with San Antonio needing a second option. But if I'm sitting in San Antonio's front office, I love the continuity of our game, of our team. I love the way Castle and Fox play together because when you watch them, they do play well together. And
I don't disagree.
Fox is a good number 2. But more than that, I'm not looking at where Kevin Durant helps me. Victor Wembanyama, and we talked about this before when you wanted to put Giannis in San Antonio. I said it may work for a year or 2, but if I want Wemby to be what I think he can be, and we agree with this, you can't have another alpha in the room. He has to be
Kevin Durant's not an alpha. Said that.
Yeah, but he thinks. See,
it don't matter. Listen, when that man didn't go take the ball from Russell Westbrook, when he didn't go take the ball from Russell Westbrook 12 years ago, that told you he wasn't an alpha.
Yeah,
he already told you he wasn't an alpha. He ain't been an alpha his whole career.
We know his heart pumps Kool-Aid. We know that. But the problem is he don't know that. So when Wemby doesn't do something, he's going to Twitter. He's going somewhere. He's letting out.
It doesn't matter. At this point, he's pushing 40. If you want to win, you're going to a 60-plus win Spurs team who's on the rise with the defensive player of the year MVP probably for the next half decade, if not decade. And all you got to do is go out and get your 27-7. Be that second option that you're so comfortable being. You don't need to do anything else. Wemby got all the defense. You're gonna let Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle run the offense, and you go out there and just beat Kevin Durant.
And all you got to do is go and show up in Golden State and play with Steph Curry, play with Klay Thompson, play with Jeremiah
and
Green, and
not
win
win anything.
titles.
Clay's not there. Clay's in
No,
Dallas,
no, 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 no. I'm talking
breaking
about
up
when
with
he
Meg.
left. I'm talking about when he
Oh,
left. I'm talking about when
oh,
he left. Yeah. Yeah. That happened, my guy.
I know it
See,
happened.
that's the
But what
thing.
I'm saying to you
It's
is,
a
you say he's going
circle
back to
with
Golden
Kevin
State.
Durant.
He's going back to Golden State. They're not going to win anything with Kevin Durant there. Kevin Durant doesn't make them a championship team.
I don't think anywhere he goes makes him a champ. I don't think there's any place he can go that makes him a championship team.
He definitely makes the Spurs better.
The Spurs are good with it. Nah,
I'm not saying the Spurs aren't good. I said he
yeah, I
makes
know.
the
I
Spurs
understand what you're
better.
saying. What you're saying is he makes them a more potent offensive team.
Yes.
But
which helps them, especially if they don't win it this year. It definitely helps them next year.
no, but that's the thing. Even if they don't win it next year, I like a hungry Wemby and I like a San Antonio. I
Be hungry
like my
regardless.
team. I
You
love
keep
my
saying it's
team
like
in San
Wemby's not hungry
Antonio.
regardless. Wemby
Yeah,
wants
but
to crush and destroy everybody. He
hungry
don't
dogs
care.
run
He don't want
faster.
to take
Nah,
no fringe
I'm not
pictures.
adding
He
Kevin
don't want to
Durant.
trade jerseys. He don't want to talk about your kids. He don't want to shake hands. He wants to destroy. And that's what people love about him. He's got that old school 80s style hatred in him. You need that back in today's game. You want that guy with that level of skill out there dominating every game, saying, I'm here to beat the brakes off of everybody I play. I don't care about your legacy. I don't care about your status, how many rings you got. And you want that. So I want Wemby. You put Wemby with Durant where Durant don't got to do nothing but go out and hoop, which you just literally said. It makes sense for San Antonio. They need another piece. You just don't know what the piece is. We thought it was Giannis. All right, so it won't be Giannis. Durant's going to cost you way
I think
less
they
than
need another
Giannis
piece.
will.
You think they need another piece. I don't think they need another piece.
If they don't win this year, they're going to need another piece.
No, I don't. Dude, I am 47 years
Listen,
old. I've
the
been watching
champion of the
basketball.
league is coming out of the champion of the NBA this year is coming out of the West. So
Right,
if
well,
the Spurs don't get there, they're not going to win. And they
no, the
still got to
Spurs are
deal.
going to the finals. The Spurs are going to the finals. I
All
believe they're
right.
going to the finals.
All right. Well,
But
then they'll beat Boston.
But I want to come back to what you said though, is because you're going to agree with me, even if you won't admit it. I don't have a problem if they lose in the finals this year because I'm old enough to remember teams struggling before they become great. And I believe Wemby's Spurs are embarking on
they went from not making the playoffs to getting to the finals is a crazy jump.
Yeah, and I believe that we're going to be witnessing a an 8-year run where he participates in 5 of the next 8 finals. So him losing
He's on
early
that
on,
LeBron arc. He's on
yeah,
that
that's
LeBron
my
arc.
point. So I don't have a problem with them losing. I just want to shut the door on
But
Kevin
even
Durant, and
LeBron needed help, sir.
I'm going to give you the last word on this. What I think the deciding factor where Kevin Durant goes, there's going to be 2 things that play a role in that. First, what Phoenix does in the offseason. And the reason why that matters is because when he was in Phoenix, they were dead in the water. Now Phoenix looks like they got an opportunity to add somebody and be an ascending team. So then that tells me that Kevin Durant was a problem in Phoenix. So if Phoenix goes out and gets a veteran, then it tells me Kevin Durant was a problem in Phoenix. If Houston decides that because they lost a veteran presence in Kevin Durant. So if
But how
they
does
just
that change where he goes? He's
well,
not in Phoenix anymore.
that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna continue my point, but you look so bewildered. I wanted to clarify. So I feel like if Phoenix goes out and replaces the loss of a veteran with another veteran, and if Houston decides that we don't want to rebuild, we just want to retool, then Kevin Durant will go anywhere. It'll be open season. You might see Durant in Charlotte, like if that's where it goes. Because if you're Houston, what you're telling me is, and if you're Phoenix, what you're telling me is, and we done sucked the whole damn show up talking about this dude. What you're telling me
It's your
is
fault.
he's the problem. And if as an
We
organization,
know that already.
yeah, but that doesn't
This ain't
necessarily
new news. This is why I'm so
It is
confused by your argument.
it is new news because when he went to Houston, everyone acted like Houston was ascending to a title, and I was the one that said they would be out in the first round. Those are literally the words that came out of my mouth, not because I got lips. I said they would be out in the first round because that's what he is. He's an albatross. But I want to make my point because I want to get to the Pistons. It tells me that he's the problem. And if he's the problem, you're not going to have championship contending teams lining up to take him. You're going to have teams that are fighting for playoff berths. You're going to have the Miami Heats of the world rumored, but they're not going to go after him. But you're going to have teams like Washington, like you mentioned. You're going to have teams like Charlotte, like you mentioned. You might even have whispers of Milwaukee, like you mentioned. Maybe the Portland Trailblazers, like you mentioned. Teams that are
Washington.
fighting.
Washington, Milwaukee, or the Spurs. Those are the 3 landing spots. That's it.
Yeah.
Washington is the favorite because it's his home base, but Milwaukee makes sense because it would maybe save Giannis, or the Spurs because I just think they need
I
another
don't think
piece.
Giannis messes with Durant. Now we got to transition. Speaking of not messing with, we got about 8 minutes left for another shot at Everett Terry. Get your guns ready here. Your exact quote was, Detroit will be fine. It'll be a gentleman's sweep. They'll bounce back. Orlando's not good enough to beat them. Listen, I went back and watched the show. Because I wanted to make sure I didn't misquote
I stand on what I say.
Huh? I'm sorry?
I stand on what I say.
You might want to sit your ass down on what you say. You might want to sit your ass down on what you say. Now, the reason why I say it that way is because you knew in your heart, you knew in your head that Detroit did not have enough to beat a team that can give you 3 20-point scores on a given night. The biggest problem Detroit is having right now is they're just not good enough. Now, I want to put down the statistics. I want to put down everything. Kevin Durant would fit in Detroit, but I don't think he's tough enough for Detroit. But he'd fit in Detroit.
He would fit in Detroit.
I don't know how he would flow with Cade because I think Cade is a little bit of an irritant, right? I think Cade right now is a little pissed off. But the point I'm trying to make is this: Detroit's just not good enough. They're a 60-win team that's about to lose to an. Bro, are Orlando an 8th seed or a 9th seed?
They were the last seed in the play-in.
Yeah, they were the last seed, but I think they didn't have a home playing game. I'm pretty sure they didn't have a home playing game.
They didn't. So, they played on the road.
So that means they're like the 9th or 10th seed. All right. So they're about to lose, and when a gentleman's sweep is about to happen, if you're Detroit, what changes do you make in the offseason? I don't want to go back and beat a dead horse. They're going to lose. What changes do you make in the offseason? Because this is different.
Before we talk about that, we can't speed past the fact that Mr. Jamal Mosley, the same coach you said was going to get fired because he wasn't good enough of a coach, is doing a hell of a job coaching him up against that 1 seed. So we're not going to speed past that, sir. While you out here firing your shots, make sure you got your shield up.
I told you, I said he's not that bad of a coach, but I don't care.
Hey, I told you he wasn't that bad of a coach. I said he just needs guys that's going to play for him and be healthy. They're playing for him and they're healthy. And now they're going to go ahead and knock off the 1 seed. Do I think that saves his job? Absolutely. The fact they made this a series saves his job. That said, if Detroit loses this series, they have to make a trade. Here's the problem. They got a lot of guys that all do the same thing.
For who? Like, what type of player
Kevin Durant makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, we just said that, but seriously.
He makes sense simply because they need another scorer to take the pressure off of Cade. You got Cade and Durant. Who's the next prolific player that plays in Detroit? We're not going to say Tobias Harris. We're not even going to disrespect the game and say Tobias Harris. Who's the next guy that you think about when you think Detroit Pistons basketball?
I think of Asura Thompson, but Isaiah
Stewart. Asura Thompson is a gadget guy. He's a Timu version of his brother because his brother's the better player.
I like Asura Thompson, but I get what
you're saying. He's the Timu version of his brother.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And so he's a 11, 6, and 5 with a steal and a block. That's not enough. You need a guy that can come in and get you 15 to 25.
I don't like their roster at all. I don't like Jalen
Durant. Is crazy. They got remember they had Jaden Ivey and Killian Hayes. They had like 5 guards. I'm like, where are all these guys gonna play? And they're quality guys, and then they started trading dudes and offloading dudes, but they didn't replace them with other guys. They went added a couple shooters. It's like, what are you doing with this team?
All right. And I don't mean to interrupt you, but I got 5 minutes. I want to try to jump in there to try to get you. I want to get you in there. My concern is what's the identity of Detroit's team? When I watched them during the regular season, it was defense. They hung their hat on defense. They were a physical team. I feel like they're trying to run with Orlando. I don't believe they need to add Kevin Durant. I don't believe they need to make a major change. I just think they need to add another. Jesus, you're going to rip me when I say this. I feel like they just need to add like a Cam Thompson, a guy that can come off the bench and give you 30 points on some nights.
Come on, man.
And give you
Cam Thomas ain't even in the NBA right now. What
no, he's not. And you're right. And I said you're going to rip me for that.
Man. You want to pick up guys off the street that playing down at the CYL league at the YMCA. Come on, man.
Right. You're right to take a shot at me on that. My point is they need to add a certified bucket getter, a guy who just comes in, A guy like Vinny Microwave Johnson. A guy like
No,
Vinny
a guy
Microwave
like Kevin
Johnson.
Durant, a bucket getter.
Nah,
You keep saying it and don't want to admit it.
no,
Kevin
because
Durant
Kevin Durant.
fits.
No, he. All right. Kevin Durant will score. I will give you that. And in that
That's what
respect,
you just said
yes,
they need.
he's a certified bucket getter. He's a guy that'll come in and score. I just don't think that Kevin Durant in his mindset is good for a young team. And that's why I don't think he's there. When I say a certified bucket getter, you're right. He fits that mantra. But they also got to fit the identity of the team. They also have to be a guy that's going to come in. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You literally just said they don't have an identity. Like, you got to pick your struggle here.
No,
You
I
just
said
said
I
they don't have
watched
an
them play. I
identity.
said, what is their identity? Because when I watched them play in the regular season, they were a defensive team. And now they're trying to run with Orlando, and that's not their identity. They need to go back to that identity being a defensive physical team, and they need to have a guy come off the bench, much like Vinny Microwave Johnson, who can play defense, maybe not great defense, but can play defense, but is a bona fide scorer. A guy that is going, no matter what you do, he's going to get a shot. Like, and just quickly, like the Lakers, like Luka. Luka, no matter what you do, Luka's giving you 35. Like, he's going to get his 35. And those 35 are going to come in moments of that game where that game is still nip and tuck. That's what you want if you're Detroit. Now, not Luka, but a guy that's going to give you those 20 points when the game is still nip and tuck. Another guy that I really would like to see them go after, and it's probably not going to happen. It's definitely not going to happen, is a veteran who can also come in and play defense for him. It doesn't have to be lights out defense, but a guy that can be a sixth and seventh man, maybe a guy that's getting paid way too much money, and can defend for them. Maybe a guy that played there like Jeremy Grant that played there a while ago. He's not going to make a monumental difference, but it'll provide some depth and some flow to them. You got 1 minute left. Last word to you.
I think that Kevin Durant fits in Detroit.
All right.
That's my fourth sleeper team.
Yeah,
That's all I got.
I know.
Detroit, Washington, San Antonio. Detroit, Washington, San Antonio. Those are the teams that I think
being a
Milwaukee is a sleeper.
For being Twitter fingers, he gets rewarded with San Antonio and Detroit. For ruining Phoenix and ruining Houston, his reward is San Antonio and Detroit. Because they weren't paying attention to what's going on. That's what
They're too busy winning.
That's it for this episode of Unparalleled Sports Talk. If you liked the episode, make sure you share, comment, subscribe, whatever your podcast platform allows you to do. He is always wrong, Everett Terry Jr. I'm Kwame Fisher-Jones. Until next week, we appreciate your time here. You be easy.